everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge Podcast. I am your host, Lauren.
And I'm Mikey.
What's up? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
This is the Halloween episode, and we're covering Halloween H20 because Josh Hartnett's in it. So that's why we're going to cover it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's topical.
It's very topical, and I love this. I love the Halloween series in general.
It's pretty cool.
I think Halloween and Scream are like my two favorite top horror franchises.
That's pretty good.
I mean, right now, including like the more recent ones, I think. So this marks Halloween H20 is the 7th film. And so by the end of everything, they will have 10.
Oh, really? Wait, this is including Rob Zombie?
Oh,
are you including Rob Zombie?
No. That would be 12.
I need to watch those again.
Yeah. His version, the first one is amazing.
The first one was cool.
The second one was a little more psychedelic, and
I need to see it again. He like really stoned.
Oh yeah, totally. He even said to a lot of people that he went to a dark place. I don't know exactly what that means, but with the second one, it was a lot more to do with like Michael Myers and his mother, like seeing visions of him or seeing visions of her. Totally weird.
Mommy issues, and all these serial killers have like extreme mother issues.
You know, but I mean, this movie for what it was. So with the more recent ones, this technically doesn't exist. This one and the next one, which is. I can't remember the title, but it has Tyra Banks and Busta.
Is it Trick or Treat, motherfucker?
Yes.
I wrote for my first impressions was like, I've only seen the first one, like the old 1978 one, this one, and Trick or Treat, motherfucker. I didn't know what the name was.
You were like, I'm just going to give it a new title.
Yeah. And I've seen the first Rob Zombie one, and I've seen part of the second Rob Zombie one, and I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
It was just, it like he said, I guess he went to a dark place, but it wrong turn, basically. It was
it was weird.
It was darker, it was bloodier, it gave some of the new upcoming actors and actresses like something to do. It was definitely not needed, in my opinion.
I need to rewatch it. Maybe we'll have a different opinion.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I haven't
been a while
in it forever. I just recently saw his first one a couple weeks ago. Just because it was on TV.
This was on TV last night. It's on AMC.
Oh, really?
If you're in the US, this is actually on AMC right now, probably because it's October and they have like a bunch of horror movies, but it was edited because I was going to watch it and then I was like, oh, this one's edited. So then I just had to rent it.
Well, speaking of that, there's a different version either on DVD or it plays on TV sometimes where there's like the outtakes are actually in the movie.
Oh, cool.
Which I don't think I've ever seen. There's only like a few deleted scenes here and there. But this was, for 1998. It was actually pretty good. Like the first movie that Josh Hartnett was in.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe it was his very first one.
And like in the 90s, you have the amazing Kevin Williamson, who is like, he has his foot in almost every project.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, Michelle, why don't you do Halloween H20? And there she is.
That's true.
So to have her in her first horror movie, that was kind of cool.
It is pretty cool. Also, I have to say, shout out to season 1 of Dawson's Creek, episode 11, I believe it's called The Scare. It's the one where that takes off of like, it's kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer, because that had just come out. Because it was 98. It was like maybe even this could have come out too, but it was probably more likely I Know What You Did Last Summer, because they had like the note and it was written like kind of like the I Know What You Did Last Summer note. And also Kevin Williamson wrote that. And then wrote this. So you kind of see a little bit of like the Dawson's Creek kids do like a horror kind of spoof thing.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Kevin Williamson was basically like the Ryan Murphy of the time.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sidetrack.
Yeah.
Someone on Twitter wrote just recently, like I think today, they were like, if you could have Ryan Murphy do a series on any pop culture like incident or like story, like what would you have him do? And one of my friends on Twitter wrote like Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Paris Hilton, and Lindsay Lohan. like
their
when
life?
they were all hanging out,
Oh
when
my
they were all
God.
hanging out and like partying around Hollywood, and they were like, I would love to see Ryan Murphy do that. And some people had really funny ones. They were like Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh my God.
Like we'd love to see him do like a whole thing of Anna Nicole. Like it was just really funny.
In a horror way, or just like a?
I think maybe even like American Crime Story, or just
gotcha.
even like in a sensational kind of way. What pop culture like event have you not seen on screen yet that you would like reimagined by Ryan Murphy? It could be Horror Story. I would want Lorena Bobbitt in Horror Story.
Well,
I would love a Lorena Bobbitt.
I heard that was like on the list of projects he might do.
Oh.
Which would be interesting. I met her, by the way.
Shut up.
Yeah,
you met Lorena Bobbitt?
It was a very like 2-minute interaction, but
That's a long time.
Yeah, like when I was with my ex, he lived in Fairfax. Ben, I don't know if you remember. But we went to like a Outback Steakhouse or something like that, and she was with like people. She had like a blonde wig and stuff like that, so like people couldn't recognize her. No paparazzi around or anything like that. But I was just like, oh my God, you're Lorena Bobbitt. And she was like,
it was actually her?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
But I was like, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to reconfirm.
Oh, you like confirmed with her? Oh, whoa.
I was like, okay, cool.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, sidetrack. But actually, I have no idea. Yeah,
I would like Anna Nicole. I'd be interested in Anna Nicole. I think that would be kind of cool. I'm done with Lewinsky. I think, isn't he doing Lewinsky? Ryan Murphy, isn't the next American Crime Story?
That was the one that was supposed to come out, I think, this year. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that one, I mean, whatever. I'm kind of done with that story. But I was trying to think of it too. But yeah, think of it and come back to me. But I thought that was pretty cool that people were like, this one, and people had all these different ideas. And I was like, oh my God. I would take a whole Britney Spears biopic.
A whole Britney
Like I would take a really good Britney like thing.
Or even like dare I say, like Destiny's Child weird turnaround.
Yeah, that was pretty dramatic too.
Or like if you want to even go older, like maybe like En Vogue.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I would have to think about
any kind of dramatics.
Yeah.
Any kind of dramatics. But Anna Nicole would be pretty good.
Anna Nicole would be amazing. I used to love her show.
I know.
I would love to see her,
baby.
I would love to see her get stuck under her chair trying to chase her dog all the time.
Oh my gosh. Oh, someone said The Bling Ring, but that's already a movie though.
What's that?
You know the one where those people broke into those celebrities' houses?
Oh.
Like they broke into like Lindsay Lohan's house, but remember they did that movie with Emma Watson that was like really bad that Sofia Coppola did a few years ago.
That's right.
Yeah. Like someone else said, I want a whole Ryan Murphy series on Courtney Love throwing her compact at Madonna.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
That would be really good. That would be so good. Like people have a lot of really good people want like some Tiger King shit. Like that's more recent, I guess.
I'm over that.
Yeah, I think we're all over that. And a lot of people Bjork versus that reporter.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Like there's so many good like
do a Bjork. That would be like a phenomenal, like maybe just like a one shot, like hour and a half, like what's going on there?
I know. Do like one episode like of each thing. Like it's a whole anthology, but it's not the whole season on one story. It's like one episode for each like thing that happened. So it's like that would be really funny. But yeah, I digress.
No, that's cool. But
what are your first thoughts on when did you see this one? Did you see this one in the theater too?
I actually saw this on opening weekend as well.
Damn.
Yeah, I went with Reed, and I was really excited because, like I said, big Michael Myers fan. And who doesn't want to?
You have the same name.
Huh? Oh, I know.
The same name, yeah.
Michael Marks, yeah. It's awful. So but I mean, who doesn't want to see a slasher film? I mean, ever since Scream came out in what, 96? 96. It was just like a domino effect of slasher films. It was like either going back to the slasher film genre. It was what else came out that last couple of years? It was like I Know What You Did Last Summer, then Urban Legend the year after, Faculty, Bride of Chucky, Final Destination and like Valentine, to like say a few. But like the later part of the 90s,
Idle Hands.
Oh my God, Kevin Sawa.
I was gonna lose. Yeah, I was gonna actually. That's on my short list to still do Idle Hands because it's so, and Seth Green, and it's like so fucking stupid. And Jessica Alba that's got to be one of her first movies.
Forgot that was her.
Yeah, she's like the girl that he likes. I'm gonna do Final Destination, but I think by the time this comes out, you will already hear it. So listen to the Final Destination.
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be super cool.
I think back then too, like I fell in love with whatever Dimension Films came out with.
Yeah.
I mean, they're more on. Well, I don't know if I want to say they're more on the horror genre because they do a lot of different other things. But in retrospect, I guess they do a really good job with their films. And then dealing with horror, I was just like,
fuck that dude.
And then bonus,
it's like fucking Weinsteins, who made everything in the 90s, by the way.
Yeah.
Like literally Miramax, same thing.
Yeah.
Like Miramax is the same company. Yeah.
But bonus, I really like Jamie Lee Curtis.
I know. She's the Scream Queen.
She is the Scream Queen. And then what was it? I read in a Rolling Stones article, they were interviewing Michelle Williams, and they were like, how does it feel to be a Scream Queen? And she was like, well, I never really thought of myself as that until now, but I still have a lot of like shoes to fill in or something like that.
Yeah.
But other than like Shutter Island, which is bordering on, well, not really horror, it's just more suspenseful. I don't know what other scary movies.
Yeah, she does a lot of dramas.
She does a lot more drama, right?
Yeah, she does a lot of dramas. I don't know that she's done any like horror things since Shutter Island's probably the last one. But that was Scorsese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd work with Scorsese. And Leo, right? Isn't Leo in that?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I think for me, because I know you really like him.
Oh, you don't like him?
I like him, but not as far as a lot of other people. But I feel like that movie was a really good turning point for me about liking him. What
do you not like about him?
I have no idea.
I love that there's some people that you don't like, and everyone always harps at me because there's a bunch of actresses that I don't like, and people are like, you don't like why? I'm like, I just don't like them. Like, I don't really know. I just think they're annoying, or I don't know. So you have them too. You don't like Matthew McConaughey.
Mm-mm.
Like, as far as acting goes. You like Christian Bale, right?
He's alright, but I heard he's a big dick. So.
Oh yeah, well, that whole weird cinematography thing that exploded a few years ago. You know, where he was like yelling on set.
Batman, right?
That was during Batman?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
I think so.
He's really intense. Like, I think he's just a really intense guy.
Which, I mean, like, I get. I mean, I don't know these people. We'll never know.
Yeah,
these people.
Obviously, this is all alleged, opinion based.
And like, I've never acted like professionally, but.
Hey, we did that Scream Home movie. we're on IMDb. Yeah.
But I mean, and so I get artistic artistry, if I can say, creativity,
like egos.
But but some people just take it too far, and I'm like, dude, there's a script in front of you. Read it how it is. Don't ad lib. Unless you're allowed to.
I think Scorsese like lets them ad lib. I think that's like his thing.
But don't like go crazy, you know? And some people,
that's true.
Or that we hear about, just go the extra mile.
Like what happened with Joss Whedon in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Which that episode will be up already, so check out the Buffy movie episode.
That was so fun to watch.
It was super fun. It's like super campy. This one I think was a little campy. This movie was campy too.
Yeah, no, totally campy.
This one I saw in like 99. I saw like the year after. I definitely rented it because I watched Dawson's Creek, so I knew like Michelle Williams, I knew Josh Hartnett, and then Joseph Gordon-Levitt being our little Drew Barrymore cameo in the beginning of this one, where it gets killed first. But and then that other guy who's with him, who's like in everything that no one knows his name. I have no idea what that guy's name is.
So many different.
He's in fucking everything.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably find out because maybe he's listening and he's like, "Hey, I'm an actor too. Like, I need to know. I'm gonna look it up now." But yeah, no, I saw it, and I'd only seen, like I said before, like the first Halloween. I actually saw in film class. in school, and it was really cool because I looked up too that John Carpenter was only 30 when he did the first Halloween, which makes me feel like a complete failure in life because that film is so great. Well, that film is so great, and when we were talking about it in school, I'd seen it already, like just as a horror movie, but then when we had to deconstruct it, it was really cool that they were saying it was one of the first horror films that showed you the point of view of the killer because you were like in Michael Myers' mask.
Yeah.
And like you never ever see that. You're always like third person, like you're always watching it, like you see them get killed in front of you. So you're not either one of them. So you actually see him and you actually are moving around. Is Friday the 13th that way too? Aren't you in Jason's shoes or no?
Not as much. See.
I don't remember.
That series and Nightmare on Elm Street, I've only seen like bits and pieces of. I've never seen. Yeah, well,
really, Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason, and then Jason X, the one where he's in space.
Wow, dude, I heard about that, but I never saw it. Is it really bad?
Yeah, well, yeah, and then it's Justin's guilty pleasure movie.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah, and it has freaking Kelly Rowland in it.
No way.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. A side note: that actor's name is Brandon Williams, who was with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So, cheers to you. He has 48 acting credits on IMDb.
Oh my god!
So good for you, man. Yeah. So that's cool. He's in everything. He's in fucking everything.
But actually, the director here, Steve Miner, he did direct Friday the 13th. So
the first one.
The first one, yeah.
Oh damn.
First one
I love this about horror films. Yeah. I was telling you this the other day. Like, I love that they're all connected. Like, they all kind of give nods to each other.
Well, it's really funny, too, because, and this is more of my behind the scenes, which I'll get to, but Jason Gordon-Levitt has, like, a hockey mask that's very representative of Jason's mask, which, I mean, yes, is a hockey mask, but there's something more specific about his mask than just your generic hockey mask, if that makes sense. So it's kind of cool. Like he put it with Jason Gordon-Levitt, which is amazing. Just a little nerd.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. FYI.
Wow. I'm not professional.
We will not. I'm going to add him to the list of future podcast interviews that I hope to get at some point. Yeah, Josh Hartnett, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Keanu Reeves, and Brad Pitt would be they're my on the short list. Yeah. And I just want to marry Angelina Jolie, so I definitely want to talk to her. She would, because we have a lot to work out.
We have a lot to work out.
We have a lot to work out because I just love her so much.
I just want to ask her one question. Like,
what?
Out of everything,
what would you ask her?
Why Billy Bob?
Oh, see, okay, we did the hackers. We did the hackers episode, and we touched on Angelina. The thing about Angelina is that because she married Johnny Lee Miller from Hackers, right? Mm-hmm. So then she married Billy Bob. The thing about Billy Bob is how, as weird as he is to like the outward appearance, I feel like for some reason they made like a pretty comparable couple because they both just seemed really wild. And I think she was in that kind of like period where you're just like, I feel like we didn't question it. Like we were just like, oh yeah, it's Angelina. Like she has that wild child kind of like, that was her like persona. And they were married for 3 years. And I think they just kind of like separated because they did. I don't think it was like anything crazy. I think she just
there was
like,
no
okay.
like drama.
I don't think so. I think they're probably like, I know Johnny Lee Miller said they're still friends. Like he's still friends with Angelina.
Hey, some people make better friends than lovers.
Yeah. And then she got with Brad Pitt. So, like level up, girl, level up.
And they were together, they broke
10
up
10 years.
2, 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah, well, they were only married for 2, but I think they were together for 10.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, but they weren't married for a long time, and then they got married, and they were married for like 2 years or something. When did they break up? Like 15?
I want to say, yeah, maybe.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
But
Angelina, I want her to talk to her. And Kirsten Dunst. I want to talk to her about Interview with the Vampire. I want to know like how much she remembers because
you eat rats.
Cool. I know. You eat rats. I was trying to think of Halloween episodes because this week we're releasing like 3 episodes on Halloween movies. And I was like, damn, I've already done so many. We did Disturbing Behavior, could be kind of creepy. We did The Craft already. Like, I was like, damn, I should have saved all the scary ones for October and just done like everything scary in October, but that's okay.
Are you gonna watch the sequel? By the way,
No,
Craft Legacy.
no. I'm sorry, I can't. I
I'm
don't want
I'm
to ruin
oddly
it.
I'm oddly interested.
You'll be the test dummy.
I'll give you a full report. I promise.
Yeah, what a full report. Oh yeah, so what are your behind the scenes notes?
Okay, so in no particular order, which I always say, this movie had several script rewrites. Kevin Williamson wrote the majority of the original. John Carpenter was originally going to direct the film, but left due to a 20-year-old fight with Halloween's original producer, Mustafa Akkad. Because apparently Carpenter was never fully compensated for his time helping produce the original films.
No. Really?
Yeah, with his directorial duties, yeah. So therefore, they got Steve Miner to direct this guy. I mean, to direct Halloween H20. Supposedly, Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to end the series, but Akkad had to put a clause in a while ago saying that they can't kill Michael Myers without his permission. So that
really? The producer?
Yeah. So that almost made Jamie quit. Actually, she almost quit like 2 weeks before shooting. But they came to like this easy medium of like, okay, well, we're gonna do one more, supposedly ending the series, but we all know how if you've seen the recent ones, you all know how that turned out. So
I didn't see the most recent one, the one with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah. I mean, she's obviously weathered. You know, she's got like the gray hair and everything.
Yeah, she's older.
Yeah. So this
weathered.
Sorry, I meant that was supposed to be in a good way. I know that came out really harsh.
She looks old. You look tired means you look old.
What is that from?
The Birdcage.
Oh yeah.
You look rested means you've had collagen. Now it's Botox, not collagen.
But what else was I gonna say? There are several nods here to slasher here and there to slasher flicks. I can't talk today. As we see a lot.
It's late. I'm drinking a triple latte in a coffee can. I'm gonna be fucking up.
Hours. Oh my gosh.
A little addendum for my IMDb research. I see that Halloween Kills has been completed and it's scheduled to come out 2021, and Halloween Ends has been announced, and that's supposed to come out in 2022. So there's 2 more Halloweens coming.
Right, and then supposedly this is it. This is the end to the whole Michael Myers, like
Cher's final absolute
for Michael Myers farewell tour. Watch him come back in like 20 years and we'll be like, dude, what the hell?
I know.
Are you gonna be in space too?
Yeah, or did you take some kind of like age stopper where you're not like limping around? Because you would be. Isn't he older than Laurie?
Yeah,
he's supposed to be older.
He's supposed to be like 5 or 10 years older.
Yeah, so what the fuck?
But I swear to God, like this guy cannot be killed. Because he's been shot, he's been stabbed,
beheaded, which wasn't him.
Which wasn't him. But where do I go from there? Oh yeah. Jason Gordon-Levitt's character has on a hockey mask.
Joseph.
Sorry.
That's funny. I won't correct you again.
No, it's okay. Janet Leigh, who is Jamie Lee Curtis's real life mother, who was also the female lead in Psycho, she appears, and her character's name is Norma, which is a throwback to Norman Bates, which was really cool. The real car that she drove in the movie of Psycho was actually in this movie. It was like, it wasn't a repaint, it wasn't a remodel, it was like the actual car, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And if you listen carefully, the score to Psycho is being played during the interaction of Norma and Laurie Strode, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then, one last thing was that there were 4 Michael Myers masks used in the movie. I think this was complete shit, but one was completely CGI.
Really? Back then?
Yeah, it was their epitome, what did they call it back then? It was like not completely CGI. I don't know, but it was definitely
not prosthetic because they are kind of prosthetic.
It was definitely
Yeah,
computerized.
oh, weird.
Yeah, in one scene, I think when he kills Joseph Gordon-Levitt. No, not Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Josh Hartnett's friend.
Oh yeah, the dude.
The dude, yeah.
The Jumanji dude.
The Jumanji dude.
Jumanji dude. Was it Charlie? I think his name's Charlie.
Yeah, his name's Charlie, yeah. Which is kind of cool. Like that's a little bit of a connection too, is that like not a connection, but a really cool throwback. He played Robin Williams' younger self in Jumanji.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, grew up looking like a drowned, harassed rat, but
what? Oh no. Shade.
I'm sorry, the shade.
The shade.
It was a little unfortunate looking, but did you have any behind the scenes?
No, I let you take care of that. The movie's really short in and of itself, so I was like, it's not like a crazy
it's only
long
like
movie.
shy of like an hour and a half.
I have a lot of really funny plot points and like just questions. There are lots of questions in horror movies. I feel like it's always like, wait, how could he have done this when he did this and that? My first note for Halloween is the motherfucking Halloween timeline, which we could talk about for a complete episode. Forever. So, okay. So in case you can watch this film and not have seen the other ones, like they kind of give you somewhat of a backstory because they show those like articles. So like if someone just told you, if someone just told you like Michael Myers, he was this like crazy psycho kid who killed his sister, and then he was like trying to kill like his sister and the other ones and all this kind of shit. Like you could probably like figure it out. Like they kind of give you the backstory, so you don't need to watch everything because there were so many before this. But so which ones? So this is technically picking up after what, 2? Is that when she faked her death?
Correct.
Okay, so the other ones didn't happen.
3, 4, 5, and 6 did not happen.
Okay.
According to this movie, yes.
Okay. So we get that really awesome Mr. Sandman intro, and we find out that we're on like, isn't it in Illinois? Isn't that where we start?
Mm-hmm.
And we start at the same town? Haddonfield? Is that what it's called?
Haddonfield.
Yeah. And then that's when we first, which is so weird. We see like this nurse and she's like, her house is like the doors open. And then she's like, oh my God, like it looks like someone broke in. And then she goes like down the street or like next door. And then she like asks her neighbor, who's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who has that hockey mask on. And she's like, hey, someone broke into my house. Like, will you go in and check it out? And they're like, no shit. And she's like, yeah, no shit. Like she's a really weird neighbor.
She's like the lax nerd. I love her attitude throughout the whole thing. I mean, yeah, she's a little bitter Betty, but I mean,
yeah, it's super weird. So she's like gonna call. I'm like, okay, first of all, why did you not call the cops? Why did you not just go into his house with the 3 of them, the other guy that's with him, Brendan?
Mm-hmm.
And why did you not just like go in there and call the cops? So then he's like, oh, I'll go check it out. I have a fucking hockey stick. I was like, this motherfucker is gonna die. And I wrote, why would you ever do this? Why would like a 14-year-old boy ever like go into a house? But I guess, I don't know. Would you do this if your neighbor was like, someone broke into my house? Like, will you check it out for me?
If I haven't seen the plethora of movies that I've seen throughout my whole entire life, I probably would. But I'm scared sometimes to even take a shower.
I'm really scared. In California, I was really scared there would be an earthquake while I was in the shower. That was like one of my biggest fears. That I was like, oh my God, like I'm naked and like totally fucked. Yeah, like I don't like, what would I do? Like, what if the pipes came down on me? Like, I would just be dead. I was like really freaked out. And also being broken into while I'm in the shower too is also like very terrifying.
But I think if if you eradicated all of those fears, yeah, I think I would do it.
Yeah, right. Okay, would you steal beer? Because of course he steals beer.
Oh yeah, totally. Either that or
and then
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. And she was a nurse, I'd be like going for that pill cabinet probably too. I'd be like, what the fuck? We'll get into a pill cabinet later and functioning alcoholism, which is another huge giant issue of this. But and then I wrote, okay, so no cops, it's nighttime now. How long was he in that fucking house because then when he comes out and then she like goes back in and she's like, okay, thanks. It's been hours. It was definitely, well, I guess it was kind of dusk maybe when she went in there. And then of course she's like goes into her office and it's ransacked, and that's when you see like that she's a nurse and she has the files of like what Loomis, like Dr. Loomis. Yeah. So then you see that like the Laurie Strode file is missing. So I'm assuming in that file it's written that she's now in Northern California.
I see, and I guess so, yeah.
Because how would Michael even know?
Yeah,
to look for her there. Like he stole the file clearly, and then she hears all these like weird sounds. I would fucking lose it when she like got in the house. I was like, I would not go in the house.
I would hightail it back and wait for the cop.
Yeah, because my teenage neighbor said it was okay. I'm like going back into the house. Like he didn't go in the basement. He didn't go like hardly anywhere, and he's probably like Michael Myers is probably standing outside. And one of my notes throughout the entire series was like Michael Myers is like cagey bitch. Like he's in and out, and you just do not hear him. He's opening doors. He's standing. He's pacing. He's never running full speed, and somehow manages to like always catch you.
Oh so, yeah, like I would slow. Like even I think the Jason movies that I did see the clips of, like he's slow too, but he's faster than Michael Myers.
Yeah, and he's bigger too.
And he's much bigger.
Yeah, he's like massive. Anyway, so then she's like, "Oh my god!" She goes next door because she like hears all this crazy shit, and I think the back door like swung open. I was like, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah,
I fucking have to be out of there. So she goes back, and then that's when you see Joseph Gordon-Levitt, aka Jimmy, like lliterally stuck in the face with a hockey blade, like the hockey skate.
Oh, the shoe, yeah,
the shoe. I was like, oh god, that's pretty.
What a way to die, yeah.
Yeah, what a way to die. And then she's like, oh my god, runs out. Other dude is stabbed in the back, coming through the back door, so he's dead. So then we get this whole like ransack, run around chase. Of course, the cops come to the house next door, and he's in the house, the neighbor's house, and literally like she's strangling, she's breaking the window. I was like, of course, they're like the dumbest cops in the world, and
they don't hear anything, like
anything. And the houses aren't that far apart. No. Yeah, the houses are like right there, and then the glass breaks, everything. That's a pretty intense scene when he like slits her throat. Yeah, like when he's behind her, that's really freaks me out.
The first time I saw it when I was in the theater, I was just like, oh my god, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So now we have I've kept marks of the deaths. So now we have 3 deaths already. So we've just started
within 2 kids. First, 10 minutes?
Yeah, I was like 2 kids and the nurse, and you find out she's the doctor who took care of Dr. Loomis. Billy's last name in Scream.
I love that throwback, that connection.
Cool. Yeah, super cool. And then I love the credits that I have like introducing Josh Hartnett. Thank you, God. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And then I was like, yeah, Laurie Strode has now changed her name to like
Carrie
Tate. Is Tate supposed to be like Sharon Tate? Is there any relation?
Shoot, I read it and it was
not that Sharon Tate's like in a horror film. I mean, I know that she.
No, it's to another connection horror film, and I can't remember.
Oh, okay, it's another one. Yeah. Same with Carrie. Is that another one? Or no? That might not be.
No.
It's the first name. And then I was like, whoa. She has these like insane nightmares. Like you flash to her in Northern California. She's a headmaster of this like prep school, like boarding school type place, that she has a son. Josh Hartnett's her son. And then she's like freaking out, has a nightmare. And then he like comes to her bed, and then she's like, nightmares, I'm having nightmares again. And then he goes into the fucking medicine cabinet in the bathroom, just a plethora of pills. And then he's like, nightmares, which one's for nightmares? I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
I mean, there is like a library full of, intense. I mean, it's just so
it's crazy. Intense.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. So then he like grabs the ones for nightmares. I wrote, wait, she has a son. The dad sucks. And she's like, your dad is an abusive, like alcoholic, this and that. And she's like, wow, I wonder how you picked that one. I was like, whoa, they have a really weird relationship. And they do like throughout the entire film. It's very strange.
I like the little like clapbacks he has, and he's just like, you're a terrible mother, and I've had to deal with this for 17 years. And she's like, give me one day. He's like, I have.
Yeah. I love when his voice cracks when he's yelling on the street with her. That's probably my favorite. I was like, oh, baby Josh Hartnett. That's so funny.
Side note real quick. whenever she
Mm-hmm.
says fuck, her head like tilts. It's almost like
Really?
it's almost like she doesn't want to say the word, but she does. I don't know. I don't know if you noticed that. It's just weird to me.
I didn't. I'm
Like
gonna have to
it
watch it
looks like
again.
he struggles to say it, and she says it like so like exuberantly.
It is really funny when she's like, "Give me a fucking break,
Right.
John!" Like she's like screaming at him like he's her ex-husband. I was like, "Okay, this has gotten like really crazy." And then we get like one of my favorite scenes is that fucking rest stop. So Michael Myers, after he killed everyone in that first scene, he stole the car of the nurse, which is again like some really old car, which is probably
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what kind it is. It's probably like something from the first one. It looks like it would be from like the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And he stalls out somewhere on a rest stop in like the middle of fucking nowhere. But somehow he's made it from Illinois to California. So, I mean,
Dedicated.
I guess. Yeah, he's super dedicated.
Dedicated.
And so he goes, and then of course, like this woman and her daughter ride up in this fucking like 1930s, like Depression era truck. I was like, what? Like, how do you have this giant ass, like, it looks like a really old ambulance.
Yeah.
Like a really old ambulance, like big, huge truck rolls up and they like, oh, I have to pee. Like, we'll go to this random rest stop. I was like, girl, just piss on the side of the car. You're in the middle of nowhere. Like, no one's around. But of course, the classic rest stop bathroom scene that you get in like a lot of horror movies with the stalls and the feet and like all that shit. So they go in, they prop the door open. This fucking terrified me because this could totally happen anywhere, anytime. And the girl's in the separate stall. Why didn't she not go in with her? Like, it's your daughter and she's pretty young. I would have not, like, no one's around. I would be like, you know, I'm standing right in front of you. Like, you're a kid. I'm not going to leave you on this thing.
I totally get it.
But anyway, it's a movie. So then when she puts her purse on the floor, I was like, girl, no. First rule of public bathrooms, don't put your purse on the floor.
Nope.
And then he snatches it. I was like, oh my God. And then she looks through like the crack and she like sees him. And then the girl is like humming. I'm like, this fucking kid. Like, God damn it. She probably would live if she didn't have this fucking kid.
Spiders.
Yeah. She's like, ah. And she's like, oh my God. And she's like, spiders everywhere.
Horrifying scene.
Horrifying. Thank God he just takes off with the car. Which of course you can hide in that car because no one's gonna fucking see you in this like giant gas guzzler. I don't even know how he would get gas for that. Like, I need more information on his travels. Like, how does he get gas? Like, how does he do all this crazy stuff? And then also we find out that the kids are going to like Yosemite for a camping trip. But Josh Hartnett, it's in California.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's like from where they are, I guess it would be several hours away. But yeah, it's a really cool place, really cool, a giant national park, and a lot of people go like rock climbing. Like, I think if you see like the El Capitan, that big like rock formation, like that's in Yosemite, and you find out they're all going on a camping trip. I'm assuming they're all in high school, but they seem kind of older. But like I guess
private, yeah,
like a prep, like a boarding school, like a prep boarding school. So they're all gonna go. I know I didn't have many fashion notes, but I do love the way they all change up the uniforms. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like how they all have their red blazers, but they're all just different. Like, you know, everyone has a different vibe to it, which is really cool. And then, so the kids are going to go to Yosemite and they're like, hey, the four of them, which is Jumanji guy, Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, who was in the show Nash Bridges I used to watch with Don Johnson, and Michelle Williams and Josh Hartnett. Like, these are the four. These are like the four kids that are around. So they decide like, hey, we're going to go camping, but we're not going to go camping. We're just going to like lie and then stay back and have our own shit, which is pretty cool, but kind of weird, I guess. This is all happening on Halloween. Like, this is Halloween day. The whole thing takes place on like the same night.
Busy ass day.
Yeah, this is a busy ass day. So I think at first Carrie didn't let John go. She's like, no, you can't go to Yosemite. And he's like, well, Dad would have let me go. So
I just want to know, like, side note, who the fuck is this dad? Because
who is the dad?
I mean, if this is like still technically following the timeline, because there hasn't really been a screw up other than like, there hasn't really been a screw up yet to this point. So there has been no dad. There has been no talk of him. Like there's been, I don't know.
No.
It's just weird to me. Anyway, continue.
And has he been with her this whole time? Like how long? It seems like their relationship very much feels like he's just been sent to live with her. Like he hasn't been living with her very long because he's kind of like annoyed with her, but maybe he has because he knows what drugs she takes for nightmares. So I mean, who the fuck knows? I don't know. And then you see that, yeah, it's really crazy. And I'm like, so he doesn't take any of these pills? Like, I don't know. She's also a functioning alcoholic, but we'll get there. She also, okay, you find out Janet Leigh, aka her real mom from Psycho, works in the office, and she's like the office lady. And then I wrote, "Ha, LL Cool J." Yeah, so she's so we've got LL Cool J, who's the security guard who works the front gate, and throughout the entire film, Carrie sees visions of Michael Myers, so she doesn't really know if he's really there or not. So
super scary because like I've even had those moments where it's like I'll watch like way too much of like, you know, Chuck out of every horror genre, every horror character, Chucky, I know he's a fucking Cabbage Patch doll, but he, and I'm almost 40, scares the shit out of me. Justin has like,
I'm not a Chucky fan, but he does kind of creepy.
But Justin has like a life-size Chucky doll that I have
life-size,
almost life-size. I mean, he's like basically to your knee, right? And I have not let him in the house.
Where is it? Like in the car?
Well, at the moment he's propped up on the stoop because of Halloween. But that's as close to the inside of the house as he gets.
Wait, so where does he go after Halloween?
In storage.
No way! At the garage.
Yep.
Oh man, you've got to put a lock on it so he can't like scare you with it,
right? But he's
gonna know that you don't like it.
The first time we met Justin for like the longest time, even you know when we like fully got into a relationship, he would leave it in the trunk because I'm like, you cannot take this up to the apartment. I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's so funny.
I know that sounds awful and weird and shit, but
are you guys doing anything this year? Like, are you dressing up to just be in like the neighborhood, or are you?
I mean,
what are you gonna be?
I think I'm just gonna be like Ghostface. Just I have like, excuse me, just because I have the costume, and then he's gonna be Jason Voorhees because he has the costume and the mask.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like we're just gonna be like killers from movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then we're gonna instead of passing out candy, I think what Justin wanted to do was like go outside and set up like a little table.
Oh yeah, and people
where
can
like
come
people
by.
can come in, yeah.
Yeah, and like stop by.
And
that's
just
pretty
like
cool.
pick it off the table or something like that.
They have a really cool thing which you might want to do. This isn't really my bag, but in Virginia, check it out. They're doing like a drive-through haunted house. Like because of COVID. Yeah. and well, I don't know. I know you guys are like really into it, but I was like, that could be cool because like you keep the windows up, but it's still like kind of scary.
Oh,
yeah. They like come over the car and
it was really funny because like when Justin and I saw a preview for that on Facebook, you know how like they have like the advertisements and videos and stuff. He was like, nope, I'm not going to do that because I do not want anyone touching my car.
Oh my god, they have that camp out thing that like a few of my friends in LA did, and I was like, there is no fucking way that I would ever
camping out in the woods.
Yeah, no, it's called the Great Camp Out. It's called a horror camp out. It's a big deal in LA. And you go and you sign a waiver and like you literally camp and these people are like professional actors.
Told me about that.
It is so scary. Like they come at you with chainsaws. Like you are like camping out in a cabin and they'll like come in and like they'll pull one of your friends out. Yeah, like they're because you signed a crazy waiver, so they're allowed to touch you. They won't hurt you. But, like you just have to be like up for. I would literally have a heart attack. Like I
would pee myself.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it. But it's a big market. It's like a huge market for it. And they wanted to do it. It was actually on Shark Tank. Because one time, the woman who started it or who was like head of the company, she was trying to get more money to do it nationwide because it always sells out in LA. It's a huge deal. And the thing about other cities is the weather. So like in LA, you can always do it. But let's say it happened to be really cold on the East Coast and maybe like people wouldn't want to camp or what if it rained or whatever. But they were like, you know, they make so much money. So yeah, I don't know if they ever did it, but
I mean,
check it out if you're into shit. Because lots of people do it. Okay, so yeah, LL Cool J. She's seeing visions of Michael Myers. Okay, so we also find out that she's sleeping with one of the teachers, who's Adam Arkin, in the school. Is he a teacher or does he just work there?
Oh, he's what did they say? He's the therapist. Psychiatrist or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, resident psychiatrist. Mm-hmm. Good. Then this is probably one of my favorite scenes where she's at that cafe and she's just like a raging, functioning alcoholic, and she's like, she has a glass of wine on the table, and then she's like, "Can I have another glass of Chardonnay?"
He looked at it, yeah. like clearly you haven't finished it. She's like, "I don't care."
Like, now, today. Right. And then she drinks it and she chugs it. I was like, whoa, she is chugging this fucking wine. And then Josh Hartnett and his buddy, Jumanji guy, have like skipped school to go get alcohol because they're going to skip. And then she runs into them on the street. And that's when she's like, what the fuck? Like, you know what this day is? What the hell are you doing out? And they have this like whole big, like huge shenanigan out in the street. And Michael Myers is like across the street in that fucking 1930s car. Yeah. And he's just watching and gawking and being weird. I think Molly is Michelle Williams. Okay. So then John surprises Molly by like turning the attic into like this weird like candle situation. Like, oh, we're gonna have our own Halloween party up
the basement. Yeah.
Was it the basement? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was upstairs. Okay, basement. And it's all like candles and everything. That's very like 90s, I think. I don't think people are.
I think so. Yeah, people aren't as romantic as they used to be.
Well, I think they're romantic. I don't know the excessive amount of candles. I don't know if like that's still a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
Let us know if you're into like an excessive amount of candles. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of like a fire waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So the whole school's going camping. Carrie's like looking out the window, fucking freaked out. She's like, but then she's like, oh God, thank God he's gone. Like, cause she's all freaked out around Halloween anyway. So she's like, oh good, he's gone, whatever. So then that's when we see the Janet Leigh scene where she comes out and she's like,
she accidentally scares,
yeah.
character, or, yeah.
Are you okay? Like, I don't mean to sound maternal. I was like, oh,
yeah, right.
It's her mom. And then she's like, but you always get like this around Halloween. Like, everything will be okay. It's fine. Then you see her walk to the car, which is really cool. The original
Psycho car. Poor Janet. Mm-hmm. I found out last night that she passed away in 2004.
I know. Yeah. And you said that she never took showers after that.
No. Yeah. I was watching an interview with I guess she was some British guy, and they were watching the shower scene where she gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, apparently she has a hard time watching that scene. But
it's pretty scary.
But she's like, ever since then, I can only bathe. I can't shower. Because she's like, she even told the guy, she was like, I feel vulnerable. I'm naked, like you were saying before.
Yeah.
You know, I can't do anything. I'm completely defenseless.
You don't even have like a weapon.
No.
You know, like it's not even like you can grab. I mean, I guess you could grab like a shampoo bottle. It's probably the heaviest thing you could probably have.
But it was really interesting, and I kind of laughed at it when she said that one part in that scene was very pathetic. Was that when you see Psycho, and I want to rewatch it, but like you see her slowly falling to the tub floor, and she's like, no one does that in real life. I mean, like, your body loses everything, so you're just gonna go clunk.
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't like how they made it so slow and dramatic. And she's like, and she even used the word pathetic. She was like, I just think it's pathetic.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Right. Alfred Hitchcock. That's crazy.
But she was praising him at the same time. She was like, he thinks like nobody else.
Oh yeah. There's so many good Hitchcock films. Like there's just so many. Oh, The Birds. Yeah, I thought this was Tippi Hedren because she sounds and looks a lot like her.
Who is
like? She's older. Yeah, she's the one in The Birds. Yeah, who's Melanie Griffith's mom.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was her. Then you were like, no, it's Janet Leigh, and I was like, oh, I knew it was someone like from a horror film. Like I knew it was someone from a Hitchcock film because he definitely has a type. Like Hitchcock always has like the blonde, like a very specific kind of blonde woman in his films, which is kind of funny. I wrote, this solo party is so much cooler than the Yosemite camping trip because they bring food from the kitchen and they're like bringing it, and they're like eating it or whatever, and they're like, oh, this is super cool. And then I wrote, the girls are watching Scream 2 on the TV.
That was so cool.
It was so cool. And that was another 90s moment that it was Scream 2. So that's very 90s. And then it was like the old TV, like super old TV. And then I said, then you get the scene where she tells her boyfriend, whatever, the Arkin guy, the psychiatrist.
Oh, Will. Yeah,
Will. She Carrie's like talking to him and she's like, okay, let's just like have sex now or like whatever. Everyone's gone. And she's real fucked up. Like she's got a lot of issues.
And then mood completely down.
Completely down. Talk about a fucking cock block. She literally just is like, so by the way, I'm Laurie Strode. Like, Michael Myers. And he was like, yeah, of course, I know Michael Myers. Like, he's like, oh, that sucks.
That's sucky.
That sucks. Like, damn, that's crazy. So then she like hear something outside.
She hears something outside. She goes to the front door and it's LL Cool J?
Yeah, I think it is LL Cool J. Yeah. And then she hears something really weird, and then she goes into John's room, and then she goes into the closet, and then she sees that he's like all his camping stuff is there, and he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Someone didn't go camping." Grabs her gun. I was like, "How did she get a gun?" Right there. Yeah, I was like, "How did this bitch get a gun?" He's really freaked out. So then we go back to the friend party, and Charlie, the one that we don't know as well, of course, separates first. You know what's about to happen. This is scary when he drops that corkscrew down the fucking garbage disposal.
That's always been one of my nightmares.
And I love how it was kind of like, it was like you thought that he was going to die by just like that shit getting turned on.
Mm-hmm.
But then he like doesn't. And of course, Michael's like there and he's like creeping around and he's like around the corner. And it's so scary. And then, so now Charlie's gone. This is death number 4. Sarah, who is Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, his like girlfriend, is going looking for him. They're like, where are they? Where are they? Let me go look for him. She goes, and then she finds him in that dumbwaiter. And he's like, what is he? His throat is slit? I think?
His throat is slit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
just like in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just like in there, and then that's when she sees Michael Myers, and then you see her leg gets like caught. She's in there. She goes in the elevator. Yeah, and then when it comes down, like when the door comes down,
it looks like it's almost like completely snapped off, but
she was saved by that Doc Martin boot that she was wearing.
Come on through, Doc Martin.
And I was like, come on through. I was like, saved by the Doc Martin, and then I wrote, never look for anyone if they disappear.
Right.
Not if you're like the only people there. I would be like, sorry, that's crazy.
And remember, don't say you'll be right back.
Because you won't be back. Someone on my Instagram today posted the photo of Billy from Scream going, The Exorcist was on. It made me think of you.
Right.
It was like October mood.
If anyone ever said that to me, I'd be like, okay, bye.
I don't know. If you look like Skeet Ulrich, I might not say bye. He's off Riverdale. He filmed his last Riverdale scene the other day.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
when does that come back?
I heard 2021, like January.
They're filming everybody else, yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's coming back 21. So then she dies. I wrote, in horror movie deaths, this is one thing I've noticed. There's always the death and the discovery. So either you see them die, which I don't think we saw. We didn't see him kill Sarah. I think she like disappears. Like, you know that she dies and there's like blood on the floor. And then of course there's the discovery.
But you don't see her like.
You don't see how he killed her. But then you find her.
Yeah, I think that's very like, I know this is going to sound weird, but I feel like her discovery scene is like one of the more artistic deaths. Because she's like hung up with the string.
It's like
her and yeah.
It feels like Scream, like Drew Barrymore's in Scream.
Actually, if you're comparing the two, like, yeah. Drew Barrymore's is better, obviously, but yeah.
And again, how did he do this? Like, what kind of fucking gymnastics is this motherfucker doing? How did he manage to get her up?
He's stronger than the girlfriend legends, that's for sure. Rebecca Gayheart.
She is dope though. And I have to say that when you were saying that it's so cool that there's a female killer, that is really cool. Like as far as horror movies go, not cool as in
No.
but like yeah, but it is cool because it's always the guy. Just like in Scream where they're like, serial killers are always males, and then they're like, no, actually,
well,
that's not true.
And I think that's the one thing that I did appreciate in Scream 4, was that I mean, it turned out to be her cousin, but still, it was like kind of cool because you got to see
it's pretty
yeah.
cool. So they discover Sarah. This would be John and Molly, Josh Hartnett and Michelle Williams. They're like, wait, where are those guys? So then they run and they find her in like the pantry, like hung up by that light cord, and they're like, oh my god. Then they run, and I think that's when they see Michael Myers, and they're like, who the fuck is that? I think John knows, right?
John has a suspicion, or John knows, yeah, by now.
He knows that that's Michael Myers, and like, so he's like running, freaking out, and then I think he stabs Josh Hartnett in like the leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, these people are getting stabbed left and right. Like she comes up with that rock and like hits him. I was like, yeah, this is so awesome. And of course, another classic, a horror movie trope when you're trying to get into a door and you fumble your keys and you drop the keys.
Right.
I was like, oh god. So then of course, like behind it is Jamie Lee Curtis and her boyfriend, and they're like, oh my god, he's fucking coming. And then you get that amazing scene, the one that I texted you earlier, where they like meet. They meet at the door, which is cool. I like how they filmed that.
Just looking at each other, and he like does his little like side head thing, like
yeah, or he like tilts.
yeah.
Why does he not talk? Is that ever explained? Like, is it just a horror movie thing where you just don't really need him to talk?
I know that in the redo of Rob Zombie's version of Halloween, it was explained that I think it was Rob Zombie's, that it was explained that he was just like so full of hate and rage that he just like stayed quiet.
Oh,
I think it was Rob Zombie's. It was one of the films, so he just remained quiet. So there was no like, it wasn't like a medical condition or anything. He just
yeah. I was always wondering like why he never talked, but I guess it didn't make sense to talk. Because you know why he's there. He's going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Like, what's he going to say to you? So then they all get back into to one of the buildings, and they're running around. So this is like psychiatrist, Carrie, and then the two kids, and they're running from Michael Myers. So then, of course, she still got this gun with her. And then, of course, someone's coming up the stairs, and the fucking psychiatrist just unloads this fucking gun. Turns out it's LL Cool J, a.k.a. Ronnie. And he uses all the bullets, so smart move, dude. And I was like, what the fuck? So I wrote death 6 and 7. We'll get there. This is pretty rough when Michael comes, like, he walks over to LL Cool J and he's like, oh my god. And then Michael comes behind him and fucking stabs him
right in the back and just like,
oh god.
Yeah. Ooh, I felt that the very first time I saw this, I felt that in my spine. I was just like, oh my fucking god.
Doesn't that happen in the... Okay, that also happens in what? I Know What You Did Last Summer? That guy from Roseanne?
Yes.
Didn't he get killed like that with the hook? Yeah, and he like lifted him up. That's fucking gross.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And I think it's also in the second I Know What You Did Last Summer. I Still Know. Doesn't someone get killed in the kitchen that way? Is it Mekhi Phifer?
Forever. It is Mekhi Phifer. Yeah.
I think it's Mekhi Phifer. Yeah, it's on one of those streaming things. As I saw the other day, I was like, oh yeah, it's the second one with Brandy.
I still can't believe that thing that you sent me the other day, by the way. Where I Know What You Did Last Summer TV show and A League of Their Own. I'm sorry.
Yeah, why? Original ideas, people.
I mean,
I know, original ideas, people. Come on. Then I wrote, so yeah, Michael Myers has stabbed Will, so Will's gone. I wrote Michael Myers is a cagey bitch, always walking slowly. So the kids escape the school. Carrie's like, all right, get out of here. Go call the Beckers. So another nod to Scream. You said, what is it?
I thought this whole time, this is the Mandela effect. I thought this whole time that she said, go down to the Mackenzies, which is the last name that they used in the first Scream, where Casey's parents come home and she, the mom's on the phone with Casey, and clearly like Casey's like in the back, like getting dragged in the yard by Ghostface, and the father's like, go down to Mackenzie's. That okay, so that's in Scream, and I thought for the longest time that that's what Laurie says here, but it's actually the Beckers.
Yeah, the Beckers.
However, saying that, it is Casey Becker in Scream, so whether that was a direct connection or I'm just making my own connection now.
It has to be a not. Wait, didn't Kevin Williamson write Scream, the first one? Yeah.
So it has to be, I guess.
Sounds on fire.
I know you're gonna shame me for that, and I'm turning red as I'm talking now.
Oh my god, it's okay. It's totally cool. So now she's like, okay, now she's like the final girl. This is like the showdown. She's ready for a showdown. And she like, they close the gate, the kids are out, they're gonna go get help, and then she like bangs the little like keypad that helps you get out.
I know,
like,
I'm like, cause that's
fucking Thunderdome, bitch. Like, I'm locking you in this bitch. I'm gonna finish this tonight. So she's the only one in there. She's absolutely insane. She's got to be shit-faced at this point.
I would.
I don't even know. And I wrote, okay, but why is he really trying to kill the sister though? Like, what is this? Just a homicidal thing? Yeah. Like he just wants to kill the whole family. That's it.
It's like, yeah, and she's the baby. So you kill that, and well, here's the thing too. Is weird is that he's after her, but then her bloodline is the son, so why not completely go after the son? I don't know. It's
I think it's just it's her. Yeah. It's like he really wants to get her. I mean, I don't even know why. It's insane. So then this is when one of those scenes that's insane. This is some like gymnastic shit when he comes down off of that pipe with one hand.
Very like
when she's like chasing him.
It's very Angel from Buffy.
Does he do that?
Or no, I guess it was Buffy who was up on the rafters. Yeah. When Angel was
Buffy did that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Buffy. That was pretty dope. I kind of like that. And I wrote, girl, you can't kill him. Why are you doing all this? So they have that chase scene was a bit long for me.
Yeah, a little bit.
I feel like it was a little too much like no dialogue and she was just running around like lots of different places.
I mean, and it didn't make any sense, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when when she hit him over the head with that fire extinguisher, continue to hit the motherfucker. Don't hit him once and then run.
Did she have the axe?
She didn't have the axe at the time.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I think after she hit him, she went to the closet where the kids were and then grabbed the axe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because I was like, damn, man. Oh, that was after Will died.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah. And then so they're in that cafeteria, and that's when she like hits him, and then she like, what does she stab him? Or she throws him off that thing with all the tables like down. It's like another story. Yeah. And then I was like, then you see LL Cool J
miraculously recovered.
I was like, how did the bullets graze him? He was shot multiple times.
I mean,
like, multiple. He did not have a vest on, so we think he's dead. I think she's like, isn't she like stabbed? She stabbed him, and then I think
stabbed him like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, and he's like, no, he's dead. He's dead. Don't worry about it. He's dead. I was like, bitch, he is not dead. But anyway, so then this is another insane. Like Laurie is actually insane. Like I don't really think that they can drive this home. Like how crazy she is. When everything's like you seem to be like wrapping shit up, and like LL Cool J's like, yeah, man, I just got grazed. I'm fine. And then she's outside. And then she's like outside in the courtyard. The cops are there. Coroner's there. The whole nine. She fucking carjacks. She carjacks the coroner van, and she's like, "Everyone, back up! I'm taking this van." And I was like, "This is just crazy."
Like apparently, no one's gonna stop her. No one's gonna do it.
No one stops her. She like carjacks the coroner van. I was like, and she mentally is like driving away. Why does she risk running him over and risking her own life driving off a cliff to kill this motherfucker? Like she's just like, I don't understand. She gets thrown from the car. He is in the back in the body bag, and she sees it like rustling around. We'll get to this in a second, but she sees him rustling around, and then she's like, "Yeah, that's it, because I'm gonna fucking kill this motherfucker." So then she like breaks the car. He flies through, and then he looks kind of like disoriented and weird, and then he like turns to the car, and then she hits him, and then she just drives off the cliff. He flies down, gets pinned between the car and a fucking tree. And then I was like, okay, pinned by a car and still not dead? Like, that would kill you. That would crush you if you came down that far. And then I was like, then when he reaches out, I like that when he reaches out at the end, and then she like kind of touches his hand, and then she's like, and then she like lops his head off. Now, in the next film, we find out, this is why I need to go back and rewatch it to see if it's even connected or if they even showed. They probably didn't show anything. But in the next film, we find out that he was not in the ambulance or in the fucking coroner van. He was like switched, right? Did he kill one of the ambulance people?
So here's among
he didn't die,
many questions. But knowing that this should not technically exist anymore, there was either a theory or there was filmed film scenes but not but edited out. I don't know, that according to one source, Michael, he switched him. He switched bodies with somebody. Like he killed one of the other guards or something like that.
Yeah, but like
put him in the mask, like slit his throat so he couldn't talk.
Yeah, so he couldn't talk. Yeah, but because he's all like discombobulated, like he looks all like he's touching his face, but no blood. That's the thing. Like,
and it's just weird because like the source that I did see that they were talking about this, this person did flash images of a Michael Myers guy slashing a guy's neck so he couldn't talk, and so I don't know if they were like real scenes or just like what is it called, where it was like
like a blooper,
like a plagiarized
outtake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a fan-made
thing or something. So yeah, I'm not really sure, and it's not explained, which pisses me off. So
don't tell me I'm gonna have to watch Trick or Treat Motherfucker Halloween just because I'm curious.
I think you have to watch it. I mean, like the whole premise is like, I mean, in the beginning, yes, it's explained that okay, obviously that wasn't Michael. He's out there somewhere else. Lori, because she's like insane. They put her in a hospital, and Michael finds her and kills her, like throws her off the top of the building or something like that.
She doesn't die.
No, she's dead.
No. Right? So how does she die in the next one?
Yeah, in Resurrection, in Halloween, Trick or Treat Motherfucker. So, well, according to this timeline, so it has so the movie, basically the rest of the movie has nothing to do with Laurie Strode. It has to do with those people that are filming in his house.
Oh, weird.
Because you know how like the late 90s, early 2000s was all about like reality TV and Big Brother and Real World and stuff like that. So Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes, who work for like a TV company, they're like, we're going to take these random people who want to be on a show and who want fame and success and money, and we're going to film in Michael Myers' house. We're going to take them there for like a weekend. That's right. We're going to take them there for a weekend, put cameras in like every one of the rooms. And then Michael Myers has been hiding underneath the house, basically.
Yeah, like the whole
entire time.
Like, what the fuck? And he's like, that's just crazy.
But like, he's basically like, you're in my house, motherfucker. I'm going to kill you. But it has nothing to do with Laurie Strode. It's just another one of those like films where it's like, okay, well, we need another slasher film, so here you go.
God, yeah, that one, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. But if you want to laugh a little bit,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess if you really care about the Halloween storyline, it's pretty interesting to see how they explain what happened in the end of this one. To somehow, like, how is he alive? Because she beheaded him.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we saw it. Yeah, so I'm like, what? So now, of course, you think that he's really, not there. So it's kind of crazy.
It's just interesting how, like, there's so many holes, and there's all this, like, back and forth, and, like, with the reboot or redo, and then you're basically, like, with the recent Halloween movies, you're supposed to forget about Resurrection, you're supposed to forget about H20.
Yeah, because the sun never comes into play again.
No, and so the original Halloween 4, 5, and 6 has to deal with Laurie Strode's daughter, and he's after the daughter and not Laurie, because she technically is dead in the second one, right? She faked her death. So again, the newest Halloweens are supposed to be a direct sequel to the second one. So again, the second time you're supposed to forget everything. 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. So these are direct. The newest ones are direct sequels, but yes, again, it's like 30 years later, something like that.
How crazy!
So in this timeline, she didn't have a son, she didn't have a daughter. Forget all that.
Oh my god, how weird!
And in what is the next one you said? Halloween Kills.
Oh yeah, that's the one that just came out, right?
Or the one that's coming out? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one that's coming out.
I was looking on IMDb last night, and the same nurse that was killed in the beginning of this one is back.
Oh no way!
Yeah. So I'm curious about how they're gonna weave her story, and if she's gonna be a survivor or again,
or will they pretend like it didn't happen,
or killed again, or something.
20 some years ago.
Yeah.
How insane!
So crazy.
Well, for music notes, I don't have much. It's just the Mr. Sandman, and then that fucking god awful Creed, which
man, stop. Being.
I'm sorry for shaming you, but I'm sorry.
Hey, everyone has their things. I mean, it's like
everyone has their thing, yeah. Like, so there wasn't much of a music, which is kind of weird that there wasn't a soundtrack, because I feel like this was the time when they had like loads of soundtracks and stuff for movies. Yeah, and same with my fashion notes. It was basically uniforms. I do like Sarah. She had really cool clothes. Like, she had very 90s type clothes. Everyone else was kind of like a little boring.
Yeah. I mean,
nothing was stood out to me.
Like, honestly, even Lori, aka Carrie, she had like the pantsuits and the sweater over the shirt. So that was
basic.
Yeah, basic 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, just super basic. Yeah, I just think Sarah had the best clothes. Like, she had a really cool, like, she had like baggy pants with her uniform. Like, with her school uniform was really cool. Yeah, so what are your favorite scenes and lines?
So some of my favorite scenes are when John, I can't remember which scene this one is actually, but it's an exchange between John and Molly, and he goes, "It just occurred to me today that I've never celebrated Halloween before." And she goes, "Oh yeah, why is that?" And he goes, "Well, we've got a psychotic serial killer in the family who loves to butcher people on Halloween, and I just thought it was bad taste to celebrate."
Oh my god.
And then the interaction with Will and Carrie, when Will is over there trying to have sex with her as she's clearly trying to explain her backstory. And he's just like, "That's terrible. Take her clothes off." And I'm like,
I know. I was like, whoa, this is so traumatic. And he just totally skated right by it.
So at the same time as it's funny, it's skeevy as shit, but I don't know.
So skeevy.
And then when Jamie and Will are in the cafeteria, and she's like, "How about you? Are you tired of my bullshit?" And he's like, "I'm a counselor. I'm attracted to it."
Oh my god.
And then my other one was when Ronnie is on the phone with his girlfriend or wife, and Josh Hartnett and his friend come over, and they're like, "Come on, Ronnie, let us off campus, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Well, I don't know." And you hear his wife being like, "Don't get your ass fired."
Oh yeah, don't get in trouble with those kids.
Right.
Don't do it.
I don't know. It's weird to I mean, even though those are just like, very random quotes and everything, it was hard to pick out like really favorite ones.
Yeah, I didn't have any like
Yeah,
lines. Mine were based. The only line that I had was, "What do we do? Try to live."
basically.
That was my line. Did you have any more scenes?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. My favorite scenes were the rest stop scene. That one was just like really fucking
Yeah.
scary in the beginning. When Lori's chugging that wine in the cafe, I thought that was pretty funny. When she sees him down the driveway, I thought was really scary, but then it's not him. I think it ends up being Will. But like she sees him, or maybe it is him. And I think Will is there. I don't know. I think it's one of those times where you don't know if he's really there. And she's like looking, I think she like keeps blinking and she's like, no.
See, and I think that's what, and I never really finished it because like we went on to something else. But like when I was telling you about the whole like Chucky doll and everything,
Oh yeah.
that's what I was gonna say is that like once in a while I'll think he's like there and I'll have to like close my eyes. I know that sounds stupid,
Really? Oh my
but yeah,
gosh, that's
it's really weird.
it like freaks you out.
Yeah, and I'll have like
Really
random nightmares and stuff like that. It's really weird.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll have to like really like blink and be like, okay, I'm fine, I'm good.
Damn.
Yeah,
And you watch horror movies.
and I love it's the weirdest thing. I love being scared, and I hate it because, and I think that's why like I'm oddly attracted to like the more real life horror films than I am with like say Aliens or Leprechaun.
Oh yeah. The
But yet,
ones.
still scared of the supernatural Chucky Cabbage Patch doll, Chucky.
Yeah, it's scary though.
But
scary.
I think because watching Scream, that could happen. Watching Michael Myers, that could really happen. Watching
Well, Scream was based on that true story.
Oh yeah, exactly. Right.
Is Halloween?
Not that I have
You know of, yeah.
No.
It could be. I mean, it's a very like, plausible story.
Even with the more recent movies like The Purge, that could fucking happen. And I think that really scares the shit out of me, So
God.
it's weird. It's a very like pendulum swing of emotions of like, this is why I love horror movies, but this is why I also hate these horror movies. Does that make sense? I don't know.
God, yeah. And then okay, my other one, okay, the door scene when she sees him.
Yeah.
I love that
scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool when they like come to. I think it was in the trailer too, like on the commercial on TV. And then I also love when Laurie carjacks the coroner van. she just like frantically drives out, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, I love
like
how
no one goes after her. Like
yeah, like no one goes after. Like, why would she be taking off with this dead body in the back of the car? Yeah, like okay. My most 90s moments, I think I already said it was Scream 2 playing on the TV, and then like the actual TV itself was the only 90s moment that I had.
I had and I can't remember who had it. I think it was Molly. She had the cordless telephone that that you put on the cradle to charge.
Oh yeah.
I had one of those. And then I don't know if this is a 90s moment or not, but I said the dumbwaiter.
Oh yeah. I mean that's even older than 90s.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean that's from like what, the 30s or 40s? Like they had those in houses. Oh, yeah. Wow. I think a lot of people had them when they had like a kitchen, like and you had like a staff. Like that's how you would bring the food up from the kitchen. Like if you had like a multi-level, like a brownstone, it was like 4 floors.
So you wouldn't have it on like say like a townhouse like ours.
Not a new townhouse, no, but like those old, like maybe like late 1800s. Like I don't know the history of dumbwaiters, but it's old. Like it's very old. Oh, okay. It's like very old school, yeah. Because that was an old building too. Like where the school was pretty old, yeah. That's all I have for my notes.
That is pretty much all I have. What is your like final thought on the movie as a whole?
My final thought is it's really fun. I actually like it. I wish it was a bit longer. It was really short. I think a little too short for me to get as invested as like something like Scream. But I do like it, but it's the writing isn't very heavy. I feel like it's a very like I think a lot of scenes could be fleshed out a bit more. Like there are a lot of relationships that aren't fully explained as well. It just kind of feels like it moves along really fast. And you kind of don't get explanations and you don't get really any character development just because Laurie's already an established character. Like you already know her and Michael Myers. Like those are the two that are throughout. But I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's a good movie. I love that it has a lot of like young stars from the late 90s. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool.
I like it.
What about you?
I feel it's a great movie for what it is, as fucked up as like the timeline is. The movie really shows like Laurie, aka Carrie's pushback and like her growth a little bit, because she's like, I'm not going to take any more shit, even though I'm like drinking and popping pills.
Yeah. For her rampant substance abuse problems. But I mean, what can you expect?
True.
You know what I mean?
I like, can't say that I wouldn't be that way too. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can't say that I wouldn't be like that.
It's great to have these little nods to horror movies. With a lot of these movies, even nowadays. And then the bonus was like the guest appearance of Janet Leigh. It was like the icing on the cake for the movie. I know it wasn't about her, but just to have that little like interaction, especially being that real life mother and daughter, I thought that was really awesome. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a C+.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I would give it like a C, like a solid C+. Yeah. It was good. It wasn't bad. It was good.
But yeah.
But I'm glad it introduced us to Josh Hartnett.
Right? And God gave us.
He still had that fucking hair that he has in the faculty. And doesn't someone say, like, do your hair? Like, brush your hair.
Was that in the faculty?
No, in this movie.
Oh.
Like, I think it might be LL Cool J, like, when he walks away and he's like, do your hair. Or maybe it's her. Maybe it's the mom. She's like, do something with your hair. Like, brush your hair. Because his hair always looks like hat hair. He always has, like, hat hair. Like, beanie hair. It's really funny. Oh, that's right. And we did Blair Witch Project, too.
We did.
We did all these scary films like way early. So yeah, check out the archives if you want to know. And I forgot to say, like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, leave us 5-star review. It's super easy. Just tell your friends to do it. Helps the podcast get more known. And follow the podcast on Instagram at Fashion Grunge Pod.
Yes, just do it. It's amazing. It's fun. It's fun to rehash these movies. And I've definitely learned to appreciate other movies that I haven't seen in a while, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, totally.
Whenever I hear the ones that I'm not guest starring on with you, I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah, let me go watch these movies, or like movies that I have been on my list forever that I haven't gotten to.
And we're going to do some more once a month. We're going to do a movie from the 2000s. So look out for that, because people wanted not just 90s all the time. So we'll announce that I'm going to announce it on the 1st of every month. So this is the 31st. So tomorrow, look out for finding out which film we're going to do for November. That's more current.
I can't believe it's almost November.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Whole year went by so fast.
So fast. And now we're in the middle of some kind of weird, like, fucking bizarro world. I don't even know, like, where we are now. Just seems like a mess.
We just gotta hope for better.
Hope for the best. Hope for the best, that everything will just calm down and be fucking chill. Like, we've had a rough year enough, you know? Like, just fucking peace, man.
Oh, by the way, speaking of, like, getting better, I voted today. Or I put my ballot in the box. Yes.
Yay, cool. I voted as well. So get out there and vote, people. I mean, even though you're going to be hearing this late, but some places you can vote on the 3rd if you're in the States. So it's really important. Go fucking vote. So on that note, we will see you on the next one.
Have a good one.
Bye.